family. The family has only a few weeks before their court date next month. If they don't get everything settled with the insurance company before that time, they face fines, court costs, and possible jail time. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Thomas the Tank Engine says he's a little uneasy with his broad autistic following, and a couple has a nest egg of debt to make sure they've got some money to owe down the road. This is the Onion Week in Review. Local video editor James Korf told reporters Wednesday that despite having said goodbye over 10 minutes ago, his friend, Michael Woodward, still remained active on GChat and had shown no signs of leaving.
If it were yellow, it would mean that he hasn't been on the computer for a little while, or if it was red, it would mean he doesn't want to talk, but it's green. I can tell. I can see it right there.
Korf later said that he felt briefly relieved when Woodward's chat logo turned orange, but was once again dejected when it became green within seconds. And in this week's op-ed pages, a high school guidance counselor laments the fact that no one in his entire damn school has been molested. In other news, a bedbug feels bad for an area man, but a bug's gotta eat. A development exec wants to see what, where, and how that would look, live, and play out, and a man at the gym is just watching TV. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition of the program. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. Just head on over to discord.lrn.fm. Could be a crime soon in at least one New York county to simply annoy a police officer. We'll tell you about that one.
By very existing.
On the way. And with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Rich.
And Mark.
So it looks like the Anti-Natalists are back in the news, Richie. You've got a story that
it's now a movement, apparently.
A movement of people who, for those who have not heard of these folks, we've talked about them, I think, only on one occasion in the past, within the last couple of years here on Free Talk Live. These are people who... Mark, that's not the appropriate way to disentangle a cord, just to let you know. He's just yanking on a highly
My $1,000 stereo
cord.
equipment, you're just pounding on it.
Yeah. Anyway, so the anti-natalists are people who are upset that they're alive.
Yep.
But aren't willing to do anything about it.
Blaming their parents for having the thought of conceiving them.
And actually conceiving them.
Yeah.
Right. My theory here is that now that we've solved the problem of shelter and hunger and pretty much everything that is going to kill us in life, that society's doomed. And the reason is that we as a species demand problems. We must have problems. We're problem-oriented. And so now that we've got all these problems solved, we as a species listen to these evolutionary anomalies.
That's a nice way to put it.
Grog would have smashed this guy's head in with a rock. Ugh, no want to live? No problem.
Grog hungry.
Right. And then Grog would have taken his woman and his shiny rocks
You
and
presume
his
this guy
weapons.
has a woman.
Yeah.
Well, whatever,
Who would want to be in a relationship with somebody who didn't even want to live? I mean, it's bad enough to be with somebody who's depressed. But to actually be with somebody who, well, let's get into the story here because it's more than one guy. This isn't just one guy.
If they didn't want to live, they wouldn't live. What they want is to complain.
Well, some of them want reparations, right?
And that starts with the first guy who was was successful in this. So
wait, he was successful?
I thought he was.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay, well, we'll get into that. I thought he was successful in suing his parents at one point, but
my God, I hope not.
We'll see. And I think this might be the one that you guys were referencing before. In February, a 27-year-old Indian man named Raphael Samuel announced plans for an unusual lawsuit. He was going to sue his parents for begetting him. It was not our decision to be born, he told the BBC. Human existence is totally pointless. So that's it right there, right? Like, just go ahead and off yourself and leave your parents out of it, right? Samuel recently told me over Skype from Mumbai that he has a good life, and he is actually close to his parents.
What do they call it when you believe life is pointless? Nihilism. That's
Via
right.
nihilists, we believe in nothing.
I kept thinking of narcissism, and I'm like, no, that's not it.
That's you.
No, you're projecting.
Might be projecting nihilism. I mean, nihilism is a weird path to travel because at some point, like, what is the purpose? Like, no one really has a good answer for
The
what the purpose of
nihilists
life
are
is.
right about life not having a purpose. I mean, life has the purpose in so much as it perpetuates itself. But if you aren't having a kid, taking care of a kid, or doing something to perpetuate the species, you're really not participating in whatever life is about. You kind of have to create what life is about for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which is what most people do.
yeah,
anyway.
That's a very empowering stance. Like, I'm going to decide what my life is going to be about, and then you're going to go about doing that.
Sure.
And some people take it a step forward and they go, my legacy after I've died.
Well, you might as well, if you've created what your life is going to be about, then create what your death is going to be about too. Let's go.
Right.
Not a problem. I mean, there are a few people that managed to pull it off. Jesus is a darn good example of somebody who managed to make a really great legacy. Charlemagne ain't no slouch either.
All right.
King Leonidas II, I would say, is probably the second most important person in Western civilization behind Jesus.
Never heard of him.
It's because you're an idiot.
Me too, then. I mean, I've heard of him, but I don't know much.
All right. Sparta.
Oh, okay.
Thermopylae.
Oh, is it the guy that was that the 300 guy?
Ivories? Yes, the 300 guy.
That's about as much research I've done on Leonidas as well.
Well, okay, so 300
Ignorance
the movie,
is different than idiocism.
it's true, but they are vanishingly similar in practice.
You can only study so much history, man.
Then you should know about the second most important person in Western civilization.
Fair enough. Okay, moving on. His complaint is more fundamental. I looked over at Ian. He had nothing. I'm going to read. His complaint is more fundamental. He believes it is wrong to bring new people into the world without their consent.
There's no way this guy won this lawsuit.
He wanted to sue his parents for a symbolic... I thought someone did, though. Maybe not him, but I thought someone did. He wanted to sue his parents for a symbolic amount of money, such as a single rupee, to instill that fear among parents in general, because now parents don't think before having a child, he told me. Samuel subscribes to a philosophy...
That's probably true. Most parents probably didn't think real hard before they had a kid. Probably an accident.
Are we talking about on the planet? Yeah.
Yeah, anywhere. United States, the planet.
I would say most is true, but I think a lot of people in the United States are planning.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who plan.
Yeah.
But most people I know were accidents.
So, just in case he's listening, my son was definitely planned.
Good.
There you
go.
I don't really talk to him very much in recent times, but at the time,
it was a plan.
It was a plan.
I'm adopted, so I'm going to go with accident. What about you, Ian? Your parents were married.
I was
there.
planned.
You go. Yeah.
And look how you turned out.
I think my parents were divorced before I was born, if I know the dates right. Samuel subscribes to the philosophy called anti-natalism. The basic tenet of anti-natalism is simple, but for most of us, profoundly counterintuitive. That life, under the best of circumstances, is not a gift or a miracle, but rather a harm.
It's a burden.
And an imposition.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say that it's an accurate statement. I mean, I agree with the natalists in their contentions. I just don't think that they have a productive pro-life position, right? They have a pro-non-existence position, which I have to generally, disagree with. But, they're correct in all their little assertions.
You mean they're correct that they didn't have consent? They didn't give
there
consent?
Is no consent.
Well, duh.
Right. I mean, don't you? It's important.
Depends.
In life, important activities requires consent. So the creation of life presumably should require consent. However, it is completely impossible to get.
That's right.
So, okay, what do we do now?
You kill yourself if you don't want to stay here.
Right, that's what you do.
That's the way out.
The counterpoint I've heard to this is, well, you more than granted your consent, right? You were the fastest swimming little sperm to get to that egg. You beat out millions upon millions of others.
You wanted it then.
You wanted it that badly that you won the race.
Changed your mind.
The other interesting thing with the imposition is this is a difficult concept for most people to wrap their head around, and that is like poverty and harsh conditions being like the default state of man.
Now, this guy was from India, or
yes, this is an Indian man.
So yeah, I just was looking here to see if there's any news on this, and just a quick search for anti-natalist lawsuit shows all the stories from February, and then this story here. So maybe there hasn't really even been any action on the case since it was originally brought. We'll perhaps find out more here, but I do find myself wondering: was this person, this anti-natalist who's bringing the lawsuit? Did he have a tough childhood? Was he raised in a very difficult,
probably Mumbai, India,
a poor home? Well, I mean, I'm sure there's some middle class and rich people there, but what was his upbringing like? I'm not asking you because I'm just asking.
Probably as harsh as he claims, right? Because if you're from a wealthy family, right, you have a head start on everybody else.
Yeah,
you're also unlikely to have as many brothers and sisters as if you were from a poor family.
True, which could be more helpful on a farm, perhaps. But as but if from
not
a
in
wealthy
Mumbai,
family,
it's not.
But did he say his life was terrible growing up? I didn't hear that.
He did not say that yet.
Yeah, I mean, just because it was just a curiosity,
his focus
right?
is more on the consent.
He could still hate his life even if he was raised rich.
Yeah.
That's certainly a possibility. There's plenty of depressed
Probably
rich
even more
kids.
likely.
855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. People who have it all but yet are still frustrated with their life. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org. Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th, visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here, coming on the Anti-Natalists movement. I don't know if there's a movement here yet, but we're learning more about them. We talked about them earlier this year when a man in India apparently has sued his own parents, or has attempted to sue. Perhaps he already got kicked out of court. I haven't seen an update on the case. Kind of looking through Raphael Samuel's Twitter just to see if maybe, he himself tweeted some sort of an update about that legal situation. I haven't spotted anything quite yet. But for some reason, it's back in the news. So maybe we'll learn more from this Guardian piece that you're sharing with us here, Richie. It's Ian, Richie, and Mark in the studio. By the way, I want to say thank you to Liberty.menu, which is a great tool for the Liberty community. It's exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. If that describes you, then you really should be over at Liberty.menu, where you can list the things that you do, put them up on the map there, like you got a business, or maybe you have an event that you want to help promote. Perhaps you are a digital content creator. There's categories for all of those things there, and listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's even a bit of a social networking aspect as well. So head over to Liberty.menu and get the things that you do listed on the site so you can get some more business from other people who care about freedom. So it's Liberty.menu, and it's free to use. Get on over there. You can use code FTL to get a Free Talk Live listener badge for your profile. We can't give you a discount because it's free. So Liberty.menu, get on over and get started there. Let's continue here. Richie, you've got the story from The Guardian about these anti-natalists, people who are frustrated with their lives for whatever reason. Maybe they feel like they're pointless or whatever, but they are mad at their parents, basically,
because it violated their consent
for having them in the first place. But they don't seem to be willing to actually do anything about it besides whine.
Right. It's a relatively easy problem to solve if you don't want to be alive.
True. Well, it's easy, but it's not easy, right? Like, it's simple, but it's not easy.
Well, what it indicates to me is that they're just complaining.
Yeah.
Not that they have any actual intention or desire to, have what they want. They're just kind of people are, point of law.
Mm-hmm.
Here. I did not consent to this life, so I might do whatever I wish.
Mm.
No, that's
and
not
for the most part. Well, for the most part, you can. You can do whatever you wish.
No, you can't.
In a lot of cases, you can.
You can pretty much accomplish what you put your mind to in this world.
Yeah,
sure, but you can't harm other people.
No,
and,
that's true.
If you expect responsibility for all your actions, and these sound like people who don't want responsibility.
All right, so I'm going to jump ahead because you said, is it just the one guy or is this the movement? So, 37-year-old Dallas-based woman, Dana Wells, goes by the Friendly Anti-Natalist on YouTube.
Oh, she's dying for views.
Yep, there you go. Posted a video featuring the Stephen Colbert clip, which featured Raphael Samuel, and to congratulate him. We all owe you a round of applause, she said. It feels like we've arrived. It feels like the big time. The notion that having children may be a bad idea seems to be gaining mainstream popularity.
Is anti-natalist a gender now, too? I self-identify as anti-natalist.
You probably could. I don't know if I don't think it'd be a gender, but just like libertarian or anarchist or nihilist out there, you're an anti-natalist abolitionist.
Her YouTube channel, The Friendly Anti-Natalist, has about 1,000 subscribers. Topic is a description discussing antinatalism, topics related to antinatalism, and exposing and challenging the pro-natalist agenda. So she wants to convert you.
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
Anti-natalists believe that procreation has always been and always will be wrong because of life's inevitable suffering.
Well, I'll give you that. That suffering is an inexorable part of life. You must have it. And if you don't have it, that you'll create it in so much as whatever the small level of suffering you experience, you will call that the largest level. Because whatever amount of suffering you've experienced, there's always the largest amount of suffering you've experienced, right?
Let's go to the phones here. We got Dave on the line in Virginia listening to WNIS. Hello, Dave.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, good. What's on your mind?
You know, this is not the first I've heard of this. So our morning guy on 790 WNIS brought it up a couple days ago. So I've had a couple days to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the gentleman that is filing the complaint, he's Indian, is he not?
He is. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you would think, well, how can someone ask their own child's permission to bear them?
They
well,
can't.
in India, if he's of a particular denomination of religion, he may have been available before he was born as someone else. That they could then
reincarnation, yeah.
Well, that's an interesting claim. I don't know if the reincarnator belief or the reincarnation belief system includes the belief that you can somehow identify the soul that will be reincarnated as a specific baby.
That'd be a fun countersuit, though.
I'm going to go ahead and give consent right now. So anybody out there in the future that happens to hear this recording, go ahead and have the kid, because it could be me.
Now, see, you're doing the responsible thing. You're giving permission in advance, which we should all do, in case reincarnation is a real thing.
Wait, now that Mark has given permission in advance, do we have to criminalize abortions again because it might be violating his right to reincarnate? And we don't know which one of those aborted ones is actually Mark coming back?
It's true.
That's the law of unintended consequences, isn't it?
Dave, good call. Anything else you want to share tonight?
Nope.
Thanks for making it. Appreciate it. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. If you want to join us on the radio, whether you want to talk about antinatalism or whatever's on your mind, it goes here on the live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live. All right, Richie, where are we at?
So they tied this into the climate activists in gaining increased attention due to general pessimism about the state of the world, giving both more opportunities to gain support. So I'll throw this out. Can we blame the millennials then? Because that seems to be like the depressed generation. Pessimistic outlook on the world, climate activists.
He definitely, looking through his tweets, and I'll give you his Twitter handle here. It's NIHILANAND, Nihiland. Anyway, he definitely seems to be a climate-concerned individual.
There you go. Yeah. See? In modern history...
Well, the climate wouldn't be in a lot better shape with about an eighth of amount of people on the planet.
1,000 YouTube subscribers, maybe? In modern history, another strain of thought emerged warning against the dangers of population growth. In the late 18th century, Thomas Malthus sounded the alarm that the population would outstrip the food supply.
Is this Malthusian guy?
Yes,
yeah, okay.
It is.
And did he predict when the population would outstrip
wrong.
The food supply? Because
the third most important person in Western civilization.
Because whatever he predicted, he was probably wrong about that.
Well, yeah, because he said that we would outstrip the food supply, or population would outstrip the food supply, and it clearly hasn't happened. In 1968, a Stanford biologist named Paul Ehrlich published the best-selling book, The Population Bomb, and co-founded the organization Zero Population Growth, later renamed Population Connection, arguing that the growth in global population would lead to famine and ecological crisis. He also suggested that people have no more than 2 children. One member of the Zero Population Growth struck out on his own with a much more radical agenda. A man named Les Knight launched the Voluntary Human Extinction Movement with the goal of phasing out the human race by voluntarily ceasing to breed.
If you fall for it, you deserve it.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up what you want. The anti-natalism discussion continues.
With Fortune DNA, you can invest in anything you want to. 100% tax-free for you and your heirs. And use your money before you're 59 and a half without ever losing your principal. All with the blessing of the IRS. Avoid the volatility of the market. Put certainty back into your investing future and keep full access to your money with Fortune DNA. Join us now at dna.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
If you're David, a few well-chosen words can help level the playing field with Goliath. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. Recently, I saw a Yellow Pages ad for an appliance repair company, and the headline read, "Why wait for Sears?" If you're going to the Yellow Pages, the Dead Sea Scrolls of advertising, you're ready to buy right now. So this is an attention-grabbing message. And how about the plumber whose radio ad says, "Call by noon Thursday, and we'll be there Saturday at no extra cost"? Smart guy. Most plumbing firms give their crew the weekend off. This one gives them Sunday and Monday off. In the words of a respected advertising executive, cut to the chase, make it quick, and tell me exactly what you can do for me, especially if you're looking for work. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want here. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about anti-natalists, people who hate their life and aren't willing to kill themselves. So they'd like to do things like sue their own parents instead, or just complain on the internet.
create YouTube videos.
Yep. So we'll talk more about it. Your calls and thoughts are welcome if you want to join us. Maybe you are an anti-natalist. You're welcome to call in. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live brought to you by Edge Wallet. Available for iOS and Android devices. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies. And it's a great wallet. I actually used it tonight to buy my dinner before we came here, and it was great. It works very well. It supports multiple different cryptos, including Bitcoin, BTC, Ethereum, Dash, Ravencoin, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and let's see, Bitcoin Cash, and a bunch of others that I'm not going to name here. Go to edge.app to learn more about it, how you can secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. And again, it's edge.app on their website, or just go straight to your Google or Apple app stores and download Edge Wallet. As we continue, we'll get back into the story about the anti-natalists, but first we go to Tom in New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Tom.
Good evening.
Hey.
It's about a report coming out from the United States Secret Service, and it is entitled Protecting America's Schools, Secret Service Analysis of Targeted School Violence. And, this is especially relevant given these nasty school shootings that take place, and especially the one recently out in Saugus High School in California.
Where he did not fit the bill of a typical school shooter.
This was the one that happened a few days ago?
Yep.
Is that right? I heard very little about it.
He had good grades. I think it was like on some sort of team, had a girlfriend.
Wow.
And then still went up and shot the place up.
And did he kill himself?
That I don't remember.
I don't think so. I think the cop
he shot himself, and he was rushed to the hospital, and he stayed there for a couple of days and then died.
Okay.
I thought he'd been shot by the cops.
So that was the next news cycle. So that one they might not have caught. Some people weren't updated on that point. But an important finding here is that, quote, most of the attackers were bullied by their classmates, and for over half of the attackers, the bullying appeared to be a persistent pattern which lasted for weeks, months, or years.
I'll buy
unquote. Now, keep in mind that these people are forced to attend school. Their parents are forced to send them to school. And
that's right.
Everybody is forced to pay for it, whether the schools stop the bullying or not. And then the cities and towns impose these zoning restrictions to try to limit how many people are going to move into the town and send their kids to the school. And those restrictions, by reducing the amount of housing, drive up people's rents, which further makes it even more difficult for families to afford private school, which further reduces any hint of competition. They've got no competition at all. And so, and it's unfortunate. The unfortunate part is that, the bullies aren't always the ones that are going to be taken out. There's no reason to trust the victim to only select victim to shoot people that clearly deserve it. And also, these
would you be okay if they only shot the bullies?
Well, the bullies that are constantly picking on them and attacking them, there's a point where enough is enough, and the government should take care of that. But they shouldn't be making people go to school or pay for school or pay these outrageous extra expenses of housing that prevent people from being able to afford private school.
Yeah, I definitely agree that people should not be forced to pay for these schools. There's no doubt about it. They are putting people together who do not belong together. They cannot get along with one another. And the way that these administrators at these schools have to deal with situations like this is unfair. As I recall, toward the end of when I was in school, which would have been in the late 1990s, they were punishing people who, if there was a fight, right, like if one person was a bully and picks on somebody and the other person fights back, or whether they fought back or not, anything that was perceived of as a fight, both parties would be punished, even if it was clearly an aggressive act by one of the two parties. Very, very rarely were fights mutual consensual, combat. It was usually somebody picking on another, and then maybe the other person defended themselves. But it didn't matter who actually started the fight. Any people who were involved with fighting would be suspended. So, it's not a fair system the way that they deal with this stuff. And so that's going to cause even more frustration.
So I went to a private school that was well known in Hawaii. That was well known for their football prowess. And one of these star football players picked a fight with a teacher.
Really?
The teacher got fired. his suspension, the student suspension, was up prior to football season. So I thought that was interesting.
So he came back.
He came back
before the end of the year.
Not before the end of the year, like before football season began.
So this happened at the beginning of the year then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And is that a problem? So in the marketplace, right, you bring whatever you bring to the table.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's a problem. If the teacher defended themselves and got fired for that, that's a problem.
That you're saying that's because it's the school, but the school is known for its football. I mean, if the school's about producing a great football player, that's what the teacher's there for. And if they can't help produce the great football player, then
like by absorbing punches.
Just saying.
It's an interesting take.
I don't support football much at all. I think it's, to me, it's a pretty violent sport that has a lot of bad ramifications. I like to watch certain games, and I love it when those guys are reaching out and manage to get the ball with one hand while they're in full gallop and then pull it back in. I mean, to me, that's an amazing feat. However, there's a lot of problems with football and everything that's associated with it. You know as well as I do, being from Florida, where football is king.
Football's big everywhere.
No, it's not.
What?
It's not like...
In the United States, football
Ian, how many
there's
places
fanatics
have you
everywhere.
lived?
Everywhere I've lived.
Football's big in New Hampshire?
Hell yeah, dude. Haven't you seen everyone wearing Patriots jerseys and Patriots hats
the NFL.
and everything? You're talking about high school football.
That's what we're talking about.
No, you said football.
All right.
I was a little lost. I'll be honest. I was a little lost too.
All right.
I was trying to think of
So you would agree football's big across the United States.
People like the NFL.
Yeah.
Yes. And
they like college football.
Not as much.
And in certain areas, high school football is a thing.
Sure.
Right. Typically more down south.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
College football's bigger down south.
Okay.
So anyway, I just wanted to share that because, the administrator, and I brought it up with the vice principal at the time, like, how is the student back when he was as complicit or more complicit than the teacher? And he went, well, the teacher's an adult, should have known better. So that's why the teacher got fired and the student got brought back. Kid mistake, teacher should know better. Out he goes.
Okay.
Yep.
So what else?
Back to the article then?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to drop one more name and to skip ahead a little bit. In 2006, South African philosopher David Benatar published a book which is widely credited with introducing the term anti-natalism. While he sought to discourage reproduction, his ideas grew out of a different premise. The objective of anti-natalism, as Benatar sees it, is to reduce human suffering.
That he should stop dragging my heart around.
I think Pat Benatar?
Yeah. Yes.
Since life inevitably involves some amount of suffering, bringing another person into the world introduces the guarantee of some harm.
Yeah, it's true.
He argues that the quality of even the best lives is very bad and considerably worse than most people recognize it to be. Although it is obviously too late to prevent our own existence, it is not too late to prevent the existence of future possible people.
It's never too late for suicide. I'm not recommending it, but for anybody that really hates their lives, why bring everybody else down? Just go ahead and end it.
I'm with you. That's why I think Mark kind of agrees too, because he said, well, they're just looking for attention and for something to complain about.
Yeah, for me, suicide's a terrible option. It's very painful for the whole family, everybody who's involved, except for these people.
Yeah.
People that, the handful of people on the internet that are looking for their 15 minutes of fame by advocating a clearly ludicrous position.
What's more painful, having to sit at Thanksgiving dinner with these people year after year after year, or finding out they off themselves? 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here. Share your thoughts on anti-natalism. It's Free Talk Live.
What if you could cut your heating bills this winter with your existing wood-burning fireplace and not spend thousands doing it? You can with Great Wall of Fire fireplace grates. Our U.S. patented made-in-America Wall of Fire grates increase fireplace efficiency, eliminate fireplace smoke problems, and come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. See our grates in action and get free shipping from walloffire.com or call 800-274-7364. Fireplace heat without fireplace smoke. walloffire.com.
We can all agree these are troubled times, right? So do you know who's on your wireless network? Whether it's a big company selling your data or a foreign hacker, if you're not protected, everybody sees your information. That's why you need Flash Routers, a custom Wi-Fi router created for privacy. Flash Routers uses a virtual private network, or VPN, to protect your online activity from hackers, trackers, and large corporations. And not just one, but all your devices with one out-of-the-box setup. Plus, Flash Routers also enhances your wireless network performance and unlocks powerful router management tools to let you take total control of your network. Call or click Flash Routers today at 1-866-509-5817 or FLASHROUTERS.com. That's 1-866-509-5817 or FlashRouters.com. Protect your wireless home network today with Flash Routers.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Free Talk Live.
Good evening, Mark and Ian.
Hey, it's Scott the Bigot. What's on your mind tonight, Scott?
I know that America is in dire straits, and I know that the whole rotten Zionist-occupied government is going to collapse very soon.
When was the last time you went out and socialized with other human beings?
I get the pulse of the people, and I get the pulse of what's going on in this country.
How can you get the pulse of anything if you're cloistered within your apartment?
I know what's going on.
I mean, are you even getting out amongst other white separatists?
Yeah, wait, in a minute.
Is that your mom?
In a minute.
No, look, it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I want it now.
So, gentlemen.
Who is that?
Yeah, you go loud.
Wait, is that your mother?
Yeah, I take care of her.
How old are you, by the way?
49.
Is your mom as bigoted and nasty towards other human beings as you are?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. They're over at discord.lrn.fm. We're talking about the Anti-Natalists, a group of people, don't know how many of them there are out there, who are so frustrated with their lives, they wish they could end them, but they're not really willing to. So they complain about it on YouTube and Twitter and, trying to make, I guess they're trying to make money off of it. I don't know. We can continue with that here. 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number. Also want to say thanks to Vince, who is a Free Talk Live Gold amplifier.
Thank you, Vince.
Vince contributes $10 per month to the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It's a way to help Free Talk Live get on more radio stations. We've got 200 stations coast to coast and beyond in the United States. We can do more. We can have 300 or 400. It's possible. But it does take effort, it does take time and money. So the AMP program helps us do that at amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com. So thank you, Vince, for joining as a gold amplifier. We only ask for $5 a month. Vince is doing 10, so appreciate that. But also appreciate everybody that's doing 5 as well. So it's amp.freetalklive.com. You did find out a little more about Raphael Samuels. This is the anti-natalist guy who kind of, I don't know, started the movement or whatever, or at least
He's the one that filed the lawsuit.
He became the most noteworthy.
Right.
Allegedly filing a lawsuit. He may not have even gotten to that point. Go ahead and give us the update on that.
So the update, the lawsuit has not gotten off the ground. I have been clearly told by a sitting judge that I will be fined by the court for wasting its time. So I originally thought that someone had won, and I think personally, like, I can admit I was wrong. He clearly the evidence is not
he didn't even get to trial.
But I think what I was confusing it with is there was another guy, not an anti-natalist, but like a 30-year-old attorney in California some years ago that sued his parents for child support, and he won. So I think that's where
at the age of 30, he wanted to continue receiving child support.
He was like, my life is too hard doing this. I want to go back to like just getting bennies from the parents.
Play video games all day. Yeah,
and
sweet.
I believe that's where I was confused, and I think he did win his case.
It does seem odd that we've picked an arbitrary age of 18 and decided, all right, you don't have to support them after that.
I did not pick that age.
But we, as a...
You mean the government?
No,
we as a society.
I think it's more of a society thing. I think the government reflects that at some point.
You think so?
Yeah.
But why do different governments have different ages?
I don't know. Do people? I know some people kick their kids out of the house, and some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
Some people let them.
In a lot of cases, you can emancipate at age 16.
Sure.
So it's not just 18 necessarily.
Well, but 16 you have to go through an extra procedure. 18,
that's true.
It's kind of just it's there.
Right. At 18, you can just say, get out.
Mm-hmm.
But we did have that story of the guy in New York that didn't want to leave the house. Do you remember that one?
His own parents' house, yeah.
Yeah, his parents' house. And
the little Manchild.
They had to get a court order to move him out,
right.
And he was pretty upset about it.
Yeah, where is he now?
I don't know.
Forget his name.
All I can tell you is the monkey that took the picture didn't get to keep the picture.
My first roommate
You know which one I'm talking about here? There was a macaque, I believe, that took a cameraman's camera and snapped a picture of the cameraman.
And someone sued saying that the photographer who owned the camera didn't have the rights to the photo.
Right.
Yeah.
That in fact it was the macaque that took the pictures. So,
right.
And that's an interesting situation. And I side with the macaque. The macaque owns the. If the guy let them hold the pictures, then it's his. Wasn't there the story of the orangutan that was emancipated in Argentina?
That was recent.
Yeah, that came to live in Florida. But, I mean, what does the ruling in Argentina, is a free ape free in Florida? I don't know.
Wait a minute. I want to go back to the macaque and the picture real quick. Because if the macaque is taking a picture with the camera owner's camera, the photographer's camera, and he has the right to that picture, doesn't that mean every factory worker who builds something in the factory has a right to that product because they made it, even if it was the factory owner's equipment?
They've already entered into an agreement to exchange compensation for something, whereas in this case, it was clear that the guy lent the camera to the macaque, right? Like he didn't wrestle the monkey. Do not do this, people. Never wrestle a monkey. He didn't wrestle the monkey to get the camera back. He just let the monkey take some pictures.
So if he would have said ahead of time, here, you can take this picture, but I retain the rights to this picture, no problem.
Right. The guy did end up with the rights to the picture. You and I disagree. I think the macaque gets the picture.
I did look up the guy, the dude that sued his own parent, or no, the dude sued by his parents to evict him from the house. His name is Michael Rotondo, and there has been an update. What's he up to? According to Syracuse,
Fortnite World Champion.com,
he's actually been in court again. This time, he brought a lawsuit against his former employer, Best Buy. The story from October of this year: Michael Rotondo apparently has been defeated in court. Best Buy won. Central New York's litigious evicted son lost another legal battle this month against his former employer. He is 32 years old, sued Best Buy in federal court in 2017, claiming the electronics retailer discriminated against him because he's a man and a father. U.S. District Judge David Hurd tossed out the lawsuit last week, writing that Rotundo's, quote, baseless and unsupported allegations do not come close, unquote, to the requirements for a discrimination claim under the law. Rotundo had accused Best Buy of passing him up for promotions, treating him differently than the women he worked with, harassing him with bad work assignments, and firing him unfairly. Best Buy argued that Rotundo wasn't promoted and was ultimately fired because he wasn't good at his job. Best Buy
sounds about right.
Provided documentation of numerous written and verbal warnings Rotundo was issued for being late, not showing up for his shifts at all, and making mistakes that cost the company money.
He was probably replaced by a Mexican.
Such as giving customers the wrong discounts.
The chosen Juan.
The company also claimed Rotundo didn't meet his sales goals while working at Best Buy. Rotundo claimed problems with Best Buy stemmed from visitations he had with his son on Saturdays. The company required Rotundo to work Saturdays, even though a supervisor had promised he'd be able to have time to visit with his son, he argued in court. The company said they never promised him Saturdays off and require all employees to have a certain number of days available for work. So he failed. He tried to get $339,000 out of it, including attorney's fees, even though he represented himself in the lawsuit.
So I've had multiple disputes with employers over time off because a lot of times it's agreed upon by one representative of the organization.
Yes.
Verbally?
Verbally.
Yes. There's your problem.
You're right. It's absolutely the problem. Yeah. But he could have been told by a supervisor, don't worry about it. We have plenty of employees with kids.
Could have been.
Take Saturdays
Didn't have
off.
any proof.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Ian, that you should get this in writing at the time of getting hired. But I've had the same issues.
Sure.
You get, look, I can do these hours and whatever, and then you get into the real world of working, and suddenly everybody's like, "What do you think you're doing? That's not how this goes." But wait, I had an agreement.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts. Jake's in Texas, watching on YouTube. Go ahead, Jake.
Oh, hello.
Hi, you're on the air.
What is your opinion about immigration?
I'm for it.
I like immigration. Why do you ask?
Oh, but I'm talking to like the Mexico drug thing that's going on.
I'm for it.
Well, that doesn't have to do with immigration. That has to do with drug smuggling, and I'm in that case
I think the Mexican drug lords are probably harder working than our drug lords.
In that case, I am against the war on drugs, so I'm for total legalization of all drugs.
For real?
Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you be for that?
Well, I feel like they corrupt people.
Drugs do?
Yeah.
You're taking the wrong drugs.
Those are demons.
Thanks for the call, Jake. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. Do drugs corrupt people?
I think that
the misuse of drugs.
Yeah,
The
the
abuse of drugs.
A drug addict is likely to do things that they otherwise would not have done prior to that, right? Like rob their own grandmother or steal from her jewelry cabinet or whatever, right?
Break
like
into a car.
Yeah,
take
that
the
they wouldn't have
stereo.
done previously. So you could argue that a drug addiction can lead people to corrupt themselves.
And a certain percentage of the population, small, is going to, they're already predisposed to this. And I think that if anybody takes heroin long enough, they're going to be addicted to it, and they're going to have to break that habit. That doesn't necessarily make you a bad person that does bad things
Not
to be
necessarily.
an addict. But,
some people can pay for their addictions. They work, they pay for them. They're a weekend warrior on their thing that they do or whatever. So
that's not an addiction if you're a weekend warrior.
Functional addicts.
Yeah, true. More coming up here. 855-450-FREE. Whether you want to talk about ending the war on drugs or whatever's on your mind. On the way here tonight, we do have the story of the police. Apparently it is now a crime, or will soon be a crime, in one New York county to simply annoy a police officer or any first responder. 855-450-FREE. That's the number where you can join us here on the radio. It's Free Talk Live.
Are you sick of hearing the same crap on libertarian podcasts? Inside jokes, interviews of the same person you've heard 50 times? Then you need to listen to the Lava Flow podcast. No nonsense and to the point. Get the information you need and get out. You won't hear the latest libertarian circle jerk news here, but instead hard-hitting anti-statist news with me, Roger Paxton, shooting from the lip. LAVA stands for Libertarian, Anarcho-Capitalist, Voluntarist, and Agrist, And if you think you fit any of these categories, then this is the podcast for you. Listen now at thelavaflow.com to find out what's rustling my jimmies, what's in the news, the latest bad cop, stupid stuff statists are saying, and so much more. You can find out more and subscribe on any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com. That's thelavaflow.com, part of the Pax Libertas Productions podcast network.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,468, silver at $16.97, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,529. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the Free State Project in New Hampshire is an organization that promotes the fundamentals of liberty and engages in a wide variety of activism in order to demonstrate those principles. Despite New Hampshire ranking near the top for the freest states, activist Christopher Wade learned that the principles were not respected in Manchester, New Hampshire, when he attempted to film a DUWI checkpoint on April 20th, 2017. Although Wade was not charged, he subsequently retained a lawyer who threatened to sue the police department for violating his constitutional rights of the First and 14th Amendments. After a lengthy back and forth, the city capitulated and awarded a settlement of $15,000 to Wade. It turns out this particular department is fortunately an anomaly, according to Wade, who said it's the first time he has ever had an issue with filming a checkpoint. However, the department has also had to pay out for other constitutional violations in the past. Naturally, such expenses are paid by taxpayers, which illustrates the importance of police knowing that the public is watching their every move. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. In what police accountability activists are claiming is not an isolated incident, more than 1,000 law enforcement officers access the California background check database for personal reasons. The Sacramento Bee reports the criminal background searches have absolutely nothing to do with the work the police officers do. Instead, the searches are indicative of police officers committing crimes, in some cases for friends and family. As an example, the SAC-B uncovered the criminal case against San Francisco Police Sergeant John Haggard. Haggard pleaded guilty to misusing the Department of Motor Vehicles database and was convicted of a misdemeanor, forced to pay $150 in restitution fees, and allowed to resign with his full pension after serving 30 years as a lawman. In September, CBS News investigated the phenomena of police officers illegally accessing databases for their own personal reasons and gain. CBS concluded the problem is rampant, and no governmental agency is keeping track of the violations. A family is facing jail for living in an RV on their own property to repair their home after a fire. The Free Thought Project reports the Navari family didn't just set up an RV and start living like Uncle Eddie in a Griswold's driveway. Instead, they called the alderman, and the mayor was aware of it. They were told that as long as they were approved by the Homeowners Association Board, they could get a temporary permit. Despite being told it was okay, one apparently heartless board member reneged on the decision and made it their mission to make the Navori's lives a living hell. Having nothing better to do, the city actually sent enforcers to the property to threaten and intimidate the family. The family has only a few weeks before their court date next month. If they don't get everything settled with the insurance company before that time, they face fines, court costs, and possible jail time. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snos.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNOS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Over 60% of employers are now checking online amateur pornography of potential job candidates. Is it fair to base hiring decisions on an applicant's online porn?
Now, this is not fair at all. For instance, if there's a red tube video of my girlfriend slapping me and choking me and riding me, that shouldn't be an indication that I'm going to lack leadership in a work situation.
Yeah, but Duncan, it's going to be hard to convince an employer who's masturbating to that video otherwise.
Exactly. My potential employer might see all those videos of my husband tying me up and having his way with me. And then they're going to think that I'm not going to be assertive enough for the job.
I mean, if you don't want to jeopardize the content of your porn, you can always shoot from the eyes down.
Oh, but that's not the same if you cover the eyes. That's where the innocence is.
So am I supposed to leave an orgy just because someone shows up with a camera?
No one's saying you should leave an orgy.
Right. So
it's more complicated.
So now, if I go to a party, I wear something like this in case that situation comes up again.
I like that. I actually shoot my porn in sepia tone and make it look old-timey, so if people see it, they'll think it's my grandfather and not me.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, launching into the second hour of the program. You can dial in toll free, 855-450, free like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord online, or the Discord lines on our Discord server. You can go to discord.lrn.fm and join any one of those on-air call-in line rooms, and then you'll sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us, and you'll sound great. It's Ian here.
Richie Rich.
And Mark.
On the way here tonight, we got some free speech-related issues, specifically with police and judges. The first one from The Independent, so actually the UK, reporting on New York in the United States, where, not statewide, but in Monroe County, which I believe has Rochester in it. It's kind of the northwestern upstate portion of New York. Monroe County's legislature, apparently that's what they call their county politicians or whatever, according to this proposal that has been approved in a 17-10 vote as of this last week, anyone who annoys, alarms, or threatens the personal safety of an officer could face up to a year in jail and up to $5,000 fine. The measure, again voted in 17-10, will apply also to first responders. So, Mark, you're a volunteer fireman. This would, if you were in New York, in Monroe County, presumably this would, apply to you if you were a first responder on the scene somewhere.
Thank God, I'm annoyed all the time.
You'd be arrested so quick.
Me? Yeah. I would.
I'm always annoyed. So.
The county executive will now hold a public hearing and decide whether to pass it into law. Of course, civil rights groups have warned the bill could have a chilling effect on interactions between the police and the public.
That might be a good thing.
ACLU, what, chilling interactions?
Well, scaring people into contacting the police for anything, right? Like, I wouldn't want to contact the police myself, but other people go like, oh, what do we need? Well, we need a cop on the scene, and then they call the cop, and the cop comes and shoots their family member, right? So if they're scared to call the
chill
cop,
things out.
So, but if they're scared to call the cop because of some petty annoyance law,
well, I mean, you're looking on the bright
solve the
side
problem.
here, and I appreciate
correct.
that, but I think what they're saying is it's going to chill the ability to actually tell the police what you really think. And maybe you didn't call them.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe they're just on the streets doing something awful. They're harassing an innocent person or whatever it is that they're doing, and you want to give them a piece of your mind. Well, not in Monroe County.
Or you show up with your cop bot camera.
Cop block, yeah, exactly. Or cop watch, yeah, exactly. So they're not going to like that, and they're going to arrest you for it. Iman Abid, who's a spokesperson for the ACLU in New York, said, quote, members of the community have every right to challenge police officers, particularly those that engage in unnecessary behavior. He said further, at a time when more accountability of police departments is needed, this law takes us incredibly backward. And they're correct. And I expect the ACLU will file suit if this law does get passed in Monroe County. News release about the legislation mentioned people throwing water over uniformed New York Police Department officers. Dolores Jones Brown, professor at a college
uniformed New York Police Department officers. So is this, they're passing a law to prevent something that happened at
in New York City,
from happening in Rochester. Yeah, I'm sorry. This doesn't even smack of constitutionality.
No,
I mean there's no leg for this to stand on. You cannot pass a law that says you may not annoy our government bureaucrats.
They can pass a law.
They can until somebody has
to be challenged.
Has to fight it and spend money and time to fight it. And that's the biggest problem with.
And there's no penalty to the politicians for doing it.
They're not held responsible for their actions.
Right.
Whoever passes this law should be held responsible for the court costs to,
at minimum,
to undo it. Well, if they know full well that those court costs will be somewhat inflated, so there'll be a punitive aspect to it.
Maybe. I mean, if it doesn't go that far in the courts, I mean, if it's quickly thrown out, then the costs won't be that high. Not only should they be held responsible for any of those costs, they should also be ejected from office. You screw this up, you botch up constitutionally, you don't belong in there.
Well,
it's not their job to adjudicate the Constitution.
But they swore an oath.
Okay.
Once 3 out of the 5 city commissioners have to pay a fine of, call it $100,000 for
they'll be
court
more
costs.
cautious.
Suddenly, you'll see some level, because people who don't have responsibility for their actions, hold on, wait a second here, this is crazy, act like they have no responsibility for their actions.
But who's going to pass the law where they have to pay this fine?
Right.
Are they going to?
They're not going to do that.
Are they going to introduce the law upon themselves? If we do something unconstitutional, we will pay this fine of $100,000.
I'm sorry, that's the sort of thing that gets handled in a revolution. I mean, what I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, so there's not really much else to the story here. I mean, I can't imagine too many people would support this, although there is a fairly large contingent of folks in the United States who are cop worshipers. They drive around with a thin blue line logo on the back of their cars. There's badge bunnies.
Half of those people just don't want to get a ticket.
You think that's what it is? You think most of that? Because the cops have figured out that one. It's not going to actually help you.
I don't know whether it's going to help or not.
So I know in Hawaii that you could get like a bumper sticker if you made a donation to the Police Officer Association.
Yep, right.
That's the old version of this, yeah.
Right. But that one you had to donate money and then you got the little sticker.
Sure.
It wasn't just like a thin blue line that you can
buy anywhere.
But the Police Association, what do you think they get out of that? Because that's basically just telemarketers. I mean, got to be 60%.
The marketers are getting most of it.
Got to be 2/3 of it eaten up in telemarketing costs.
They're not even using real people to call now. I had a call come in on the landline here.
Heck.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm here with the Police Benevolent League or whatever the organization was, and we support our police officers, and we want to count on you for your. And I'm trying to talk to this person like, oh, you're not a real person, are you? And he just keeps going with whatever the spiel was.
Could have just been a script.
No, he didn't respond.
Okay.
To any of my inquiries.
Right. So what they're doing is they're pre-qualifying you. And it makes sense if it costs a certain. You only have a certain amount of people sitting in a boiler room making phone calls, and it costs a certain amount of money to call everybody in America with human beings. With robots, on the other hand, this number just falls right off. All you're paying for at that point is phone lines. How big of a tube are you, buying to shove your BS out through? And if somebody, ring, if they get a tenth of the amount of people that respond, but they're able to call 20 times as many people, there you got your numbers. You've doubled your output.
I answered a robocall that thought I was a voicemail. Because I said, hello, because I'm at work, right? So I answered, hello, this is whatever. And then there was a pause, and then I went, oh, sorry, we missed you. And then proceeded to give the callback number. I'm like, man, they're not even expecting people to answer the phone at this point. They're just, there's a pause and then a message being left to call back.
Wow. So if you want to join us here, you can. Also, in other free speech related news, I just saw this one tonight from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. A man has written a letter to a judge and called him incompetent and unfit to serve. Also added in some expletives. And it got Derek Jenkins, age 39, thrown in the Palm Beach County Jail for 30 days.
This is the definition of contempt of court, right? The judge calls himself the court, and this guy clearly has contempt for him.
30 days as part of a 6-month probation sentence. According to the story, Jenkins found out the hard way you can't publicly curse the judge and get away with it. But now he's appealing his contempt of court conviction in a case that raises the question, don't you have a First Amendment right to criticize someone wearing a black robe? And I think that you absolutely should have that right.
You have to do it politely, though.
Well, I think you should be able to say whatever you want. Unfortunately, inside the courtroom, the man with the robe has total control. It basically is his court or her court, and they've got men with guns who will do their bidding. They'll do whatever it is they're told to do, even if it's something illegal. So a friend of ours, Ademo Freeman from Cop Block, was arrested for questioning a judge in a stairwell here in Keene. The video footage from that's in Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree, which you can watch at victimlesscrimespree.com. The arrest, the charges, they were dropped, but he spent a few days in jail while he waited for the charges to be dropped. So it was completely fallacious, and he didn't get any kind of compensation for the loss of 3 days of his life.
Did he try to, though? Did he sue for it?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't even know you could appeal contempt of court. This guy is apparently trying to appeal his contempt charge. I didn't even know that was a possibility with contempt. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We can look further at it coming up here, and your calls and thoughts welcome on What You Want is Free Talk Live.
Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin, but imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. We're talking about a man who has been jailed on contempt of court for a 30-day sentence simply because he wrote a letter to the judge in his case, and that letter included some things the judge didn't like. They've included, to the Sun Sentinel's credit, they've actually included most of the letter here. It's a 3-page long document.
Was it hand-delivered? Like, was he in court and said, like, I've got this letter for you, Judge?
He filed it, yeah. So it's filed in the court case. So he didn't actually send it to the judge's house or something like that. Although I've actually done that in the past. A long time ago when I first moved here, I sent a letter to Judge Burke's house. And I forget what it was about, but it was basically saying, oh, yeah, I remember. Basically, I said to him, hey, look, we've got more liberty people moving here, so, you've got the opportunity to do the right thing and, stand up for freedom, or, you can stand against it, and we're going to make you look bad.
Arrest that man.
Basically. But he, to his credit, actually didn't have me arrested over that, because I think it was outside of a court trial, meaning that I wasn't on trial at the time, so it wasn't like whatever. There's like some legal term for trying to contact a witness or a judge outside of the court process, and because I wasn't actually on trial at the time, it's not illegal to send a letter to a judge's house.
Interesting.
Unless you're actually under trial by that judge at the time. Is my understanding. I'm not an attorney. Okay, just
just out of curiosity, how many days in jail total did you spend because of Judge Burke, though?
Because of Burke, let's see. In that instance, or total over my entire lifetime?
Yours and his.
Was it Burke? No, it wasn't Burke. So probably 4.
Okay,
3 or 4.
Yeah, he got his get back. Everything's fine.
I think this was after.
Okay.
I had gone to jail, but I don't know. This was more than 10 years ago. So anyway, in this letter, they actually, for whatever reason, they've censored the profanity in the letter, so we can't actually read that part, should we had wanted to. But, what's really offensive about this letter is the fact that the man doesn't capitalize anything.
So he's got poor grammar?
Yeah, the grammar's not so great. He's using periods at the ends of sentences, but at no point does he actually use a capital letter, not even when using names of other people. He puts...
Is it handwritten?
No.
Well, maybe it's just broken. Maybe his caps button.
No, because at one point he does put the name of a court case in all capital letters.
Okay.
But that's the only thing that's in there.
Maybe he's one of these sovereign citizens.
I think he is, actually. If you look at I haven't read the whole thing yet, but if you look into it, he does make certain sovereign kind of sounding claims. He says that he's been trespassed upon by the judge. His claims remain unanswered and unchallenged. He's demanding compensation from the judge. There's a lot in here that kind of suggests that he's one of these courtroom theorists, basically.
The caps lock thing, I'll just chime in real quick, could be because we as a society are now spoiled on auto caps on our mobile devices.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have to sit at a computer and type, it's an extra keystroke.
To have to hit shift?
To have to hit shift. And then
I don't know. I think Mark's onto something here, that I think that he's specifically capitalizing the name of a court case because, he probably believes that the capital letters conspiracy theory,
but
the
that's
idea
only
that
the legal fictions for names, like proper names. You're saying he's not even capitalizing first letters of sentences.
Or names at all.
Right.
Like
Rich, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
Am I an old cranky codger simply because of this? I hate when people send me these long messages that require a great deal of writing on my phone. So if I get some kind of message and it's not a yes, no, like a 3 or 4 words, I'm annoyed. I don't want to have to type. I can't type out on these flat screens well, and don't want to spend time doing it. And the swiping method always comes up with the wrong word, and my phone can simply not remember how to do the word tomorrow, right? So I have to type that one out every time. But some people tell me they've typed these long messages with their thumbs.
Right.
I'm just outraged that they would expect that from me.
I think you are an old cranky codger insofar as that's just how it is now, right? Like the culture has moved forward with mobile devices, and that method of speaking with acronyms and autocorrects and all that. And some people won't even fix the autocorrect, right? They're like, well, when you're reading it, you know what the word is supposed to be,
right?
Just read it accordingly, and then it puts the onus on you because they don't want to go back and correct it. But I think that's how kids are doing it nowadays, and you either get with it or get left behind.
I'm not going to type a big old long response on a phone. I mean, even on a keyboard, I'd rather just talk to you on the phone. If you've got some sort of long conversation to have with me or whatever, I'd rather save the time and make a phone call.
Well, but even that, wanting to do it on a keyboard, I think is ancient at this point, because most communications with younger people nowadays happens on the phone. Yeah. Right, like it's more comfortable just to type it here, and because the electronic keyboard on the phone has more features than a standard keyboard, like the spacing, the auto correcting, the spell checking, the auto caps.
It's still way slower
for you because you're more comfortable with the keyboard.
I believe I can outperform the top. Somebody in the top 5% of phone typers on my keyboard.
Absolutely.
I know Ian can.
I'd put money on that.
Ian will smoke them all day.
Right. But for them, they're faster on a phone.
They're faster than
on a keyboard.
On a keyboard. Really?
I would throw that out there at this point in time because I think that's
all they've done.
That's all they've done.
You may be right about that.
And to the point where I bought for a Raspberry Pi, I bought the little mini keyboard.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have a big old keyboard in front of it. I just want a little thing like this that's next to the device that I just pick up and type something really quick. You enter the command in, just right there, hold it in your hands like a controller or like a phone or like a tablet, rather than having this big old keyboard in front of it.
There's just no way that 2 thumbs could be faster than all of your fingers on a keyboard. Like you can do so much more typing that way. I just don't believe for a moment that if
But your keyboard doesn't have predictive text. Right, so I type in 2 words and slide up, and all of a sudden I got a whole sentence, and you're still, typing away.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, somebody's probably done this. This has probably already happened.
Yeah,
There's probably already been a competition between folks like this.
But it has to be what you're used to versus what you're not used to.
The Dvorak guys are out there. I could get them.
I bet they could.
Oh,
for those of you that don't know, there's the much more common QWERTY keyboard.
Yeah.
And the Dvorak is a.
Wait, are you showing him a Dvorak keyboard?
I use a Dvorak keyboard on my phone.
Something wrong with you.
That's amazing.
So the Dvorak keyboard is a good idea.
Yeah.
Somebody came up with, well, these are the keys we use or whatever.
It's a more intelligent organization.
Right. So QWERTY was designed because you can type the word typewriter across the top line. So it's for salesmen selling typewriters.
Is that why it was designed?
I thought it was designed.
That's what I read.
I thought it was designed because it slowed down people on typewriters for having the keys jammed.
That's what I'd heard. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. More about offended judges and contempt of court for saying something they don't like. It's Free Talk Live. We're coming up.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale. Totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help. PorcupineRealestate.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about saying things bureaucrats don't like. It's crystal clear in the case of the new law that is possibly going to go into effect, at least for some amount of time, until hopefully it's challenged and thrown out in Monroe County, New York, that will make it illegal to say things that annoy police officers or other first responders.
Was it specific to saying things? I thought it just said annoy, harass.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't just about verbal things. Who knows? Yeah. It's a good question. So to do things perhaps that might annoy, to look away that might annoy a police officer.
Give them the finger as you're walking by.
That definitely annoys them, and they've been arrested. They've been arresting people for years for that, and having those cases thrown out, and the police
now they
lose.
Can't.
Well, again, this is likely going to be overturned. The police don't have the same level of protection that judges do, as a man in Florida discovered. Derek Jenkins, age 39, has been thrown in jail for 30 days as part of a 6-month probation sentence for cursing the judge in a legal filing that he made in a case. We'll tell you a little bit more about it. Also, want to make sure you know about AnyPay. If you are interested in accepting Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies at your retail business, or maybe you're a service provider and you go to your customers' houses, you want to accept crypto on your device that you have on you there, you can do that easily by going to helpmetakebitcoin.com. The folks over at AnyPay can easily get you on board with accepting Bitcoin Dash or Bitcoin Cash, and it only takes moments to get started. You don't have to fill out ridiculous paperwork. There's no application fee. There's no application at all. You just create a username and password, put in your cryptocurrency addresses that you want the crypto to go to that you're receiving from your customers, and load the app up. I mean, it's that easy. In fact, you don't even have to do it in that order anymore. Now you can just go load the app, put the addresses into the app, and create your account from inside the app. It's super easy. Just go to helpmetakebitcoin.com and you can get started accepting cryptocurrency. And it doesn't cost you anything either to accept these cryptocurrencies, so it's pretty awesome. And there's really no reason not to get started, unless you like being, living in the past and not being on the cutting edge of technology for your customers. Go to helpmetakebitcoin.com as we continue here. More with the Sun Sentinel story about a man who is apparently trying to appeal this contempt of court conviction, raising the question, don't you have a First Amendment right to criticize someone wearing a black robe? Legal experts say you do, but only outside of court. Still, Jenkins' lawyers argued that he was, quote, engaged in political speech, unquote, and didn't deserve any punishment for insulting Circuit Judge Howard K. Coates, Jr. And again, I would agree with them because it was a written motion. It was a written filing in the case. It's not like the judge
the guy didn't just stand on the defendant's chair and scream obscenities at the judge. He filed a motion, and if the guy didn't want to read it all the way through, he could have crumpled it up and thrown it away. Once you see the first F-bomb in the motion is no longer valid.
What was? Does it say what the motion was initially for?
Well, I said, the motion here is actually it's a notice. It's not even a motion.
Okay.
But the paperwork, the notice here is just his opinion, basically, the man who filed it. His opinion about the judge, essentially. I mean, if you would
there was no purpose to the letter aside from the criticism of the judge, basically.
Without having read the entire thing, I'm going to say that's pretty much it. Yeah, Howard Coates, Jr., you are a blank hypocrite and unfit to serve as judge. This is from page 3. For the circuit, appellate, and or supreme, this record will follow you, and I hope everyone viewing this public document make careful decisions when selecting or electing you. I'm not saying I'm more important than others, but I can't believe a military vet like yourself blank over a decorated United States war vet like me. So apparently this guy both men were in the military at some point.
So he did this just to get it on the public record.
That's correct.
Because if you do it, if you shout it from the rooftops and nobody's listening, then no one else can look back on this letter. But having introduced as part of the court hearing means that it's always on public record for people to view and see what this judge may be like.
And actually, very few people would ever have viewed this letter had the judge not put the man in jail.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely the Streisand effect going on here. But we can see here also the societal deference towards veterans that is expected and demanded out there. This guy's, claiming, he doesn't claim that, hey, I'm an American citizen or I'm a human being, I have the right to this or that or the other thing. He claims, I'm a vet, you're a vet. There ought to be a certain level of quid pro quo going on here. And I don't think this is the only guy that feels this way.
Definitely not. But the judge is a vet with a black robe, and that makes him more important, according to the system. Jenkins, who's, again, 39, says he didn't do anything wrong with his scathing correspondence. He testified this year saying, quote, I believe when I wrote my documents, I was using free speech, and I had no intent to cause anyone any harm, unquote. Jenkins had slammed the judge in response to the judge's decision to dismiss his $500 million civil lawsuit against the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. The suit claimed his friend's time was wasted over a seatbelt citation. In his letter, so again, that's another example. He's one of the sovereign guys because he's trying to bill the state for this ridiculous rate of whatever $50,000 a minute or something like that.
So I've done that on a small scale with no intention of actually following through. So
you mean you knew you would never collect the money? Yeah,
but they kept leaving.
Don't worry, we knew too.
Right, but they kept giving me parking tickets on my moped, and so I put together an invoice. I said for the collection and return of trash left on my property,
right.
$600 or whatever. I put a PO number on there and everything, and my return address. And
they never wrote you back.
They never, of course not.
No.
But I didn't do it expecting to get paid.
Yeah.
I did it as a form of protest that it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't disagree that it's, I don't think there's anything wrong with filing these sort of cases or fee schedules or whatever. It's kind of a funny thing to do. But yeah, anybody who thinks they're actually going to get something out of it is
$500 million
beyond whatever catharsis, you feel having done it.
Oh, it feels good doing it, by the way. I'm just...
In the letter, Jenkins complained the judge issued his ruling without a, quote, fair and impartial review, unquote, among other perceived slights. He wrote further, quote, I hope everyone viewing this document makes, I already read that. He says, I will hold you personally liable as a man, and you're not immune to Jack S.
Well, okay, so that could be taken as threatening.
As a threat?
I'll hold you personally liable. Like, how do you collect on that? How do you hold him personally liable?
Coates then took action. He charged Jenkins with criminal contempt for, quote, statements and representations calculated to lessen the authority and dignity of the court, unquote. This ultimately led to an April trial before...
I like that we presume that the court has any dignity at all.
The judge does.
Before a different judge who was randomly assigned to hear the case. It features an unusual scene where Jenkins served as his own attorney and briefly got to question the judge.
Nice.
Jenkins,
I do love that stuff.
That is fun. Jenkins asked the judge if he caused him any, quote, harm, loss, or injury with the letter, and the judge claimed that it did. Coates told Jenkins, quote, you have impugned my reputation in the community by calling me, and I'm not going to repeat it, but an effing hypocrite and unfit to serve as a judge. You have accused me of being incompetent. That causes personal harm. But the harm goes beyond me. It goes to the judicial system as well.
The judicial system's done plenty to harm itself. I mean, I can't remember what the numbers are off the top of my head, but, the legislative branch is liked somewhere slightly below like roaches and slightly above radioactivity. And, the executive branch is, so I think it's like 6% for the legislative. And like 11% for the executive, and I think judicial comes in somewhere about 25% of the population says they like and respect the judicial branch. You're not talking...
That 25%'s never been to court.
Right, that's 75% of the population thinks y'all are a-holes.
Yeah, it's always fun to look on, how Google has ratings for businesses?
Yeah.
Type in your nearby courthouse
Nice.
and see if it has more than 1 star. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Jenkins shot back that the judge should, quote, have thick skin, unquote. And I agree.
That is true.
And that's what they require the parking enforcers to have here in Keene, New Hampshire, and I'm sure in other places. They tried to sue folks who filled meters, saving people from parking tickets, saying they were being harassed, and that suit got, they lost. More coming up here. Free Talk Live.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits, at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
We all hear the stories in the news. The good guy uses a gun to protect his family from criminals, and he's the one arrested. The legal system is not fair, and responsibly armed Americans are political targets. So here's how you can take a simple and rewarding journey to complete self-defense confidence. Simply text GCN to 87222. To discover how the USCCA can give you the training, education, legal, and financial protection you need to truly protect the people you love. Don't risk everything and leave your family vulnerable. Now it's time to prepare and protect yourself. So if you're ready to take your next step as a responsibly armed American, you're ready to truly become your family's ultimate protector. Text GCN to 87222. Discover your life-saving USCCA member benefits today. Again, that's text GCN to 87222.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You bring up what you want here. You can take control of the airwaves. 855-450-FREE. Cursing out a judge. It ought to be legal. Now, I can understand why someone would argue that in a courtroom, you shouldn't be able to just shout and scream for as long as you want to, right? They've got to finish the trial at some point. They've got to get through this thing, in the same way that you can't go to a public college and shout and scream outside of a class for an hour because you're going to disrupt what's going on inside. There's some understandable restrictions that could exist in some of these places. But one man in Florida, a 39-year-old gentleman named Derek Jenkins, has filed a court filing. He filed a document in a case which had some profanity in it. It had some criticism of the judge in the case in it. And he was sentenced to 30 days in jail for this.
And wouldn't have seen the light of day if the judge wasn't vindictive in this case. Because he could have ignored it, like you said.
He could have
just
ignored
a filing. Didn't have to go to press. Didn't have to make anything of it.
But he says it harmed his reputation.
Poor guy.
The judge claimed, because the judge actually ended up on the stand, on the witness stand in this case, and claimed further that he was accused of being incompetent, that caused him personal harm. The poor baby. It can't handle a little bit of criticism.
So, real quick for clarification then, the judge is on the stand because of the suit the guy claimed against being found guilty of contempt, though, right? So if the judge just filed the letter and didn't do anything, there'd been no contempt charge and therefore no countersuit.
Had the judge not taken action and brought criminal contempt against the man, then there would have been no
appeal, and he wouldn't have to take. Yeah,
which again is news to me that you can appeal criminal contempt. So I'm glad to hear that.
Wheels are turning everywhere.
Good. It's good to know, because this is. I always thought that contempt was just this sort of untouchable power of judges that they have in the sort of the Western court system. There's not a contempt statute. You can't go and look up contempt in the state statutes where you live and find out anything about it. It's not a misdemeanor. It's not a felony. It's not a violation. It's just contempt. And the judge can. There's a few rules that apply to it. One of them, and again, all states may be different on this, but at least here in New Hampshire, you have to have a right of allocution, which is where you get to explain why you were doing what you were doing that caused the contempt to happen. And
apologize for it.
And you can, beg for mercy in that particular case.
That part should go in front of another judge.
I would agree.
Because the original judge cannot be impartial.
Doesn't work that way here, at least.
Okay.
But maybe it does in Florida, because it did go, the case, his appeal did go in front of another judge. So we can talk more about that. Your calls and thoughts are certainly welcome. And also want to make sure that you know about Balance of Nature, because, good nutrition is important when it comes to looking and feeling great. But eating right all the time is certainly a challenge. And travel and work schedules can get in our way these days. Plus, you may just not have the desire or the time to shop and cook the right foods. Balance of Nature can help you with that. Just 3 of their Balance of Nature fruit capsules and 3 of their veggie capsules totals up about 10 servings of fruits and vegetables, and that's a lot of nutrition. You can go online and become a preferred customer, which gives you the best pricing and free shipping. And then after your 3rd month, Balance of Nature will ship to you at no charge an additional set of fruits and veggies. So if you would like to take advantage of that offer, just go to balanceofnature.com. Use discount code FTL. That's balanceofnature.com, code FTL.
They're useful for when your wife's out of town, too.
There you go.
I had people worried about my health over the weekend because my wife's out of town. Did you eat? Yes. I can cook pretty well. I can cook for myself.
All right.
And she left leftovers.
So more about this case here, because the man who was charged with contempt, as he pointed out, the judge should have thicker skin rather than claiming that this court filing that ultimately would have been seen by no one else.
Yeah.
With the exception of the judge. I mean, the odds that anyone else is going to come in and pull this one case to read through the court filings is so slim. No one cares, for the most part, about other people's court cases.
That's true for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
I got to go to court relatively recently, and I found other people's cases to be very interesting. Not interesting enough to go to court, but I got to sit there and listen to people complain about their landlords and absolutely ridiculous cases. Like, seriously? You think that's somehow illegal?
But did you want to go and pull the case file so you could read all the filings in the case?
Unless you're in law school looking at something specific. It's not that interesting.
No. But I thought it was kind of interesting, the whole, situation where people, they've got disagreements. And, who's right, who's wrong, who's going to win.
Mark's first visit to court in 30 years, apparently.
Nah, I've been to court before.
Aaron
Different kind
H.
of court.
Kaplan, a First Amendment expert. This story again from the Sun Sentinel down in South Florida. Kaplan's professor at Loyola Law School in Los Angeles said Coates appeared to give the nasty letter more consideration than it deserved. Again, Coates, that's the judge here. Kaplan said, quote, "The smart move would have been to ignore this guy because he's not saying anything particularly important. However, it does sound like it was contempt of court." Unquote. He explained that people can slam a judge all they want online, but not in court or in a court filing. And, quote, "As a general matter, anyone can criticize a judge. Anyone can say a judge should not be reelected. And if Mr. Jenkins had written that in a letter and published it in the newspaper or put it up on the internet, it's absolutely First Amendment protected," Kaplan said, adding that only a threat of physical harm would be problematic. Inside a courtroom, however, outbursts aren't tolerated. He said, quote, "In order to have an orderly and fair justice system, people have to behave themselves in court. Disorderly conduct, ranting and raving, insulting the judge, you can be found in contempt of court." He says
that's not even what this guy did, though. Like, there was no
But in a case file, it's the same thing.
Okay.
So by putting something into the case file versus saying it verbally in the courtroom, you're basically doing the same thing legally. That's why a judge can accept a motion verbally and can accept a motion in written form.
All right.
So it's definitely not as embarrassing because you don't have anyone watching when you file it in the case file.
You can put it all together, too. You know, sometimes it can get difficult to string all those expletives together in a cohesive fashion. If you have a few minutes to compose it there at home on the computer, then you could really give them a stinging rebuke.
Well, that's true, and you can't be interrupted if you've written it down. I mean, the judge could stop reading, but in court, if you get a few words out that the judge doesn't like, he's going to have you silenced and pulled out of the room before you can say your whole prepared
If they cut your
spiel.
mic, you just scream BAMF at them, loud enough that they can hear it over their mic.
Sure.
Doing it in the letter, as you said, Mark, you have time to think about it and get all those expletives in there, which means it's not even really an outburst. It's a well thought out.
It's a critique.
It's a well thought out critique that just uses language offensive to the court.
That's right.
Says, again, the expert says, if you're a litigant, the things you say from your mouth in the courtroom and also the papers you admit, all of those could be subject to contempt. That's what tripped up Jenkins, though it was entirely at the judge's discretion. Quote, "All Judge Coates needed to do was take this letter and stick it in the file and not worry himself about it. I personally don't see what's gained by prosecuting a disappointed litigant for contempt of court, and so I would wonder, what is the point?"
Probably got home to his wife. Are you really going to let him talk to you like that? Are you really going to let him put that in the letter and submit that in the filings?
She probably
you better do something about that.
She was probably telling him that the guy was completely right, and you are all those things. And he's like, I can't do anything to you, but I will get that bastard in court.
Coates said he had charged Jenkins because he viewed the letter as calculated, a calculated attempt to force Coates off the case had Jenkins tried to appeal his ruling. Quote, "That's the problem with these types of letters. When they go over the top in terms of their criticism, in my view, a contentious way," said Coates under oath during his testimony, adding that Jenkins is, quote, "making personal comments that would provide a basis for me to recuse myself from any further proceedings in the case if it were to go forward." And in point of fact, that's what he wanted. In the letter at one point, he says he wants the judge to recuse himself from any future cases.
That's a pretty smart strategy if that's what his goal was.
Judge Pants found that Jenkins' letter was, quote, "a clear and present danger to the orderly administration of justice," and declared him guilty of indirect criminal contempt of court. He told Jenkins it's a second-degree misdemeanor. Oh, interesting. So they do call it a misdemeanor in Florida, punishable by up to 6 months in jail.
That's probably why you can appeal it in Florida, too, then.
The judge sentenced Jenkins to 6 months of probation with a requirement to serve the first 30 days behind bars because of the, quote, "serious nature of what you did," unquote. So you basically have one judge backing up his buddy and backing up the whole system. Oh, we can't have someone filing a letter with mean words and criticism.
That's right. We're the most incompetent lawyers that can't compete in the marketplace, so we had to put on these black moo-moos and tell everybody else what to do. And if anybody ever figures that out, then, well, what are we going to do?
A letter, I mean, they really want you to believe that a critical letter is a clear and present danger to the orderly administration of justice. This 3-page, poorly written, badly punctuated, non-capitalized letter that is just a jumble of, angry thoughts is somehow on its own, by being put into a case file, a threat to the entire administration of justice.
Well, part of the court movement, right, is to do things in front of other people so that they can see that it can be done. Which
the court rights movement or court?
Right. I don't know what to call it.
Whatever they were. Yeah. What do you call these things? I don't know. Court legal theorists is what I.
There you go.
855 450 free. But the thing is, this wasn't in front of other people until the judge put it in front of other people.
But it was in the file.
That's true, but nobody knows to look at those things. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live. Hour 3's next.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,468, silver at $16.97, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,529. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the Free State Project in New Hampshire is an organization that promotes the fundamentals of liberty and engages in a wide variety of activism in order to demonstrate those principles. Despite New Hampshire ranking near the top for the freest states, activist Christopher Wade learned that the principles were not respected in Manchester, New Hampshire, when he attempted to film a DUWI checkpoint on April 20th, 2017. Although Wade was not charged, he subsequently retained a lawyer who threatened to sue the police department for violating his constitutional rights of the First and 14th Amendments. After a lengthy back and forth, the city capitulated and awarded a settlement of $15,000 to Wade. It turns out this particular department is fortunately an anomaly, according to Wade, who said it's the first time he has ever had an issue with filming a checkpoint. However, the department has also had to pay out for other constitutional violations in the past. Naturally, such expenses are paid by taxpayers, which illustrates the importance of police knowing that the public is watching their every move. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. In what police accountability activists are claiming is not an isolated incident, more than 1,000 law enforcement officers access the California background check database for personal reasons. The Sacramento Bee reports the criminal background searches have absolutely nothing to do with the work that police officers do. Instead, the searches are indicative of police officers committing crimes, in some cases for friends and family. As an example, the Sac Bee uncovered the criminal case against San Francisco Police Sergeant John Haggard. Haggard pleaded guilty to misusing the Department of Motor Vehicles database and was convicted of a misdemeanor, forced to pay $150 in restitution fees, and allowed to resign with his full pension after serving 30 years as a lawman. In September, CBS News investigated the phenomena of police officers illegally accessing databases for their own personal reasons and gain. CBS concluded the problem is rampant, and no governmental agency is keeping track of the violations. A family is facing jail for living in an RV on their own property to repair their home after a fire. The Free Thought Project reports the Navari family didn't just set up an RV and start living like Uncle Eddie in the Griswold's driveway. Instead, they called the alderman, and the mayor was aware of it. They were told that as long as they were approved by the Homeowners Association board, they could get a temporary permit. Despite being told it was okay, one apparently heartless board member reneged on the decision and made it their mission to make the Navori's lives a living hell. Having nothing better to do, the city actually sent enforcers to the property to threaten and intimidate the family. The family has only a few weeks before their court date next month. If they don't get everything settled with the insurance company before that time, they face fines, court costs, and possible jail time. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Amid the catastrophic economic crisis spurred by Tuesday's release of This Christmas, the new holiday-themed album by John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, economic experts told reporters today the Christmas CD has quickly plunged the nation into a double-dip recession.
When investors learned that one-time screen couple John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John had reunited after 35 years for an album of timeless Christmas classics, investors had no choice but to pull money from markets immediately. We were already on shaky ground with the collapse of the U.S. subprime mortgage market and the reversal financial crisis in Europe, but consumer confidence plummeted after Americans saw the new album with a picture of Travolta and Olivia Newton-John holding cups of hot cocoa. We believe that when other countries find out the album features a Christmas song that pays tribute to summer nights, we could be looking at a global contagion. This is the blackest day on Wall Street in 2 decades.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The Sunday edition. We're here live with you tonight. It's Ian.
Richie Rich.
And Mark.
Mark, you wanted to talk about somebody who, like a young person, teenager maybe, who got injured at a baseball game for sliding on his coach's demand, and now there's a lawsuit and there's some kind of controversy here. So I don't know anything about the story. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so I mean, there's sometimes these things happen where people participate in sports in school, right?
That happens a lot. Yeah,
not an unusual
and a lot
thing.
of them get hurt.
I was stalling because my thing wasn't open. The page wasn't up. It wasn't loading. Google had signed me out in that moment. So you played sports in school, and sometimes
it's one of the reasons I didn't like playing sports, because I didn't like getting hurt.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's not for everybody.
Didn't you like it when you got to play sports and it should have been class time?
Like PE?
But that was class time. It was PE.
No, I mean, did this never
recess?
happen to you at school that it was like, hey, kids, want to blow off school and go out and play?
Oh, you mean like to just go play with your friends or something like that?
Well,
play some kind of game at like a park?
I remember I had this 4th grade teacher who was the softball coach, right? And she would sometimes we'd just shut down class and go out and play softball.
Nice.
Yeah, that never happened.
Okay, well, it was awesome. Anyway.
I could see why you would like that.
She was competitive about this. She wanted everybody to be a good softball player. Well, there's nothing you're going to do that was going to make 11-year-old Mark a good softball player. Just nothing, And this case, apparently, this teacher, John Suck.
That's his last name?
S-U-K.
Suck.
Yeah, Suck.
And where is this?
New Jersey. Well, at least it's from NJ.com. I believe it's from New Jersey because it says Somerset County Judicial Complex.
Yeah,
and
sounds like Jersey.
Yeah, NJ Advanced Media for NJ.com. So I'm still going. Okay, it says it's a New Jersey courthouse.
Got it.
Right. So
John Suck.
He's right. John Suck is he apparently advised one of his students, he was coach on the junior varsity team. He's not even the big team. This is middle school junior varsity. I didn't know there was.
I think the kid was a freshman. It might be high school junior varsity.
Well, it says middle school here.
Oh, okay.
But some middle schools have a 9th grade.
Okay.
So maybe that's all this fits together now. So JV might have actually been the big leagues at this school. And he advised the kid to slide into base. And the kid hurt his ankle. Apparently a career-ending ankle injury.
It'll happen.
It can happen.
It's part of sports, man.
Yep.
And now he's being sued.
Never making it to the big leagues, kid.
And, well, probably true. And this is what happens to so many aspiring athletes. They push themselves, as athletes will.
Yep.
It's good to push yourself in life, but the problem is everybody else is pushing themselves, and this is, zero-sum games and how they work out. In the business world, everybody can be successful if they provide a good service or product, but in the competitive sports arena, one person wins and one person loses. And John Suck, I'm just going to read a little bit of it here so you get a better idea of what happened here. John Suck sits in with his shoulders slouched and his head down at the defendant's table in a courtroom 301, a stuffy wood-paneled space inside the Somerset County Judicial Complex. The 31-year-old middle school teacher scribbles in a notebook as his reputation is shredded. The plaintiff's attorney in civil docket whatever, it's a bunch of letters and numbers here, spent 2 full days portraying the co-defendant as an inattentive and unqualified lout. He is, they argue, a villain who has destroyed the future of a teenager he was supposed to protect. He must be held accountable for what he did.
Wow.
In quotes, one of the plaintiff's 2 attorneys tell the jurors during the opening arguments. The attacks intensify as Suck takes the witness stand to defend himself on a split-second decision he made 7 years earlier.
Jesus.
He is accused of taking a reckless course of action that showed a callous disregard for another person's safety.
Slide into third.
He sounds like an awful person.
Right?
Then you remember what Suck did to end up here. He instructed a player he was coaching during a junior varsity baseball game to slide. Not into an active volcano or into a shark tank but into third base. So there you go. That's it. And,
reckless and callous.
I have no idea how this case is going to turn out or anything like that, but I think it's kind of interesting. Here you got a government school, and you got a government school teacher, and the government is being used to go after the government in this circumstance, and pretty soon they're going to be...
Hold on, the government's going after the government?
Because he's a school teacher.
He's a school teacher.
Are they suing the school?
Yeah, he's the co-defendant.
Oh, okay.
Oh, come on. You think it's just the teacher that's getting sued? You can't just sue the teacher.
You go after the big pockets.
Right. The teacher didn't pull a knife and stab the kid. I mean, he's doing it completely in his capacity as a coach.
Yeah.
And, I'm kind of curious here. Is this where a litigious society goes? Because this is a pretty normal activity.
Sliding into third base.
Sliding into third base.
Or coaching someone to slide into third.
Giving and getting advice to slide into base.
Sure. It's a long time thing that's been going on for decades.
Right, and but it's, as the lawyer points out in here, it is certainly more dangerous to slide into third base than it is to run to third base and stop there. But the ball was coming in, and the best advice a baseball coach could give in this circumstance was slide.
Mm-hmm.
But the advice that a person who's protecting the welfare of a child might be completely different, which is don't ever go outside. It's dangerous out there.
It's okay if you get out at third base, just as long as you get there safely.
Right.
Take your time.
And
healthy pace. This is not a marathon.
It's like
we'll give you a participation award.
Poor Nike and the they got in trouble for
Nike.
I'm sorry, I call it Nike because we didn't have shoe commercials when I was a kid. That's why. And Nike, poor Nike out there, just do it's a little too much for the bedwetters in society.
Did they change their slogan?
They've had several different shots at it over time, but there's also some silly memes about maybe get it done possibly.
Yeah. At some point in the future.
And that seems to be what it is. A generation that's too tired to do anything. Hell, I got hurt 7 years ago in middle school, and I think let's sue the school.
Well, if you read further into it, I don't want to bury it for you. But
the article is very long, and I can't go through everything here. So go, please.
I believe it's the insurance company that's suing him in the school. So it's not even really like the parent and the kid. They're witnesses, and they have to testify. But it's the insurance company.
So the parent's insurance company is suing.
I believe so, or something like that. I would ask Mark to double check it. I read the article one time through on my own. Didn't know we were going to have it, but yeah, it's the insurance company suing the teacher.
And the school.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't remember exactly which insurance company it was. But
so
it's
it'd either be
parents.
the school's insurance company or the parents' insurance company.
Whoever had to pay for the kid's injury.
It wouldn't make sense to, let's see, New Jersey. He learns that he was named in the lawsuit when a claims examiner from the New Jersey Schools Insurance Group, the firm that insures Bound Brook and 375 other public schools, showed up at his new job in North Brunswick High. This is the winter of 2015, nearly 3 years after the injury. His initial shock is met with assurances from the insurance rep that this case probably would never see a courtroom. He gave a deposition in 2016 when a judge granted a summary judgment to the defense. He figured he would put the entire episode behind him. He was on his way to a freshman baseball game in 2018 when a friend texted him, "Why are you getting sued?" the message read. Not only had Messer's attorneys won the appeal, but a news story about the case was getting national attention because of the eye-popping headlines. Baseball player sues coach for telling him to slide.
Unbelievable.
So, I think it's interesting because, this is probably what a litigious society ends up doing, eating itself.
Yep, that's true. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. You would think that when one joins a baseball team, one understands that there's some risks involved in that particular pastime.
Sure, but there's insurance to take care of this stuff, right?
I don't know. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live. We'll talk about it.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com. DINOVITE.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com. NRK Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge Wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You bring up what you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. If you get the chance, there's some news about the potential ban on flavored e-cigarettes and e-juice at the national level coming up here. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Richie Rich.
And Mark.
Also, want to make sure you know about local.bitcoin.com. You can buy or sell Bitcoin Cash on a global platform that actually respects your privacy. This is impossible to find out there except for local.bitcoin.com. All the other competitors want to know who you are and where you're from. It's called Know Your Customer, and there is no Know Your Customer, no ID requirements to sign up for and use local.bitcoin.com. Plus, all the communications between buyers and sellers on the site is encrypted. So very, very private site compared to the competition out there. Get over to local.bitcoin.com and you can get started buying or selling Bitcoin Cash with dozens of payment methods around the planet. It's a pretty cool site. I've used it. I'm an active participant on their local.bitcoin.com. So, Mark, just before we went to the break there, you had suggested that insurance companies should cover costs of people who break things during sports games. And it would seem to me that that's like not something you'd want to cover because that's a high-risk activity. Why would an insurer want to cover a high-risk activity like that?
So if you play a sport activity, or at least when I was in school, I don't know what things are like today, but there is insurance for that. So you
have to pay some pretty steep premiums, I'd imagine, right?
I think that it's paid by the school.
Yeah,
in
this
part.
is probably covered by the school.
And the idea is that physical education is an important part of education. And yes, kids are going to get injured during physical education, so we need some system for covering that. And no, I don't think in this case a New Jersey middle school coach that told a kid to slide into third base when sliding into third base was the obvious thing to do is somehow liable for that. And the insurance company, if they take the premium, ought to pay. And that's the end of that story. I mean, I don't, insurance companies may not want to service that, but somebody's going to have to service it.
So what happened in this case was the insurance company went after the teacher to try to get him to be held liable instead of pay out to, or I presume they paid out, but now they wanted to recoup from him?
They're saying that his actions was negligent for the well-being of the student, and that if he acted with the well-being of the student in mind, that the accident, the injury wouldn't have occurred, and therefore they wouldn't have
had to pay out.
So they're saying it was his negligence as a coach in giving that instruction that caused the injury.
Because if I were an insurance, I'm not in the insurance business, obviously, right? But I wouldn't want to insure a boxing match because I know that somebody's going to get their ass beat in the boxing match. And I don't want to pay out for that. They went into the ring knowing that somebody was probably going to get injured, so there's no reason to insure that.
Well, everything has a price. And boxing insurance, presumably there's an amount that makes sense to charge people for insurance in a particular boxing match.
Yeah. Well, someone's going to get hurt, but the guy who wins might not be as injured as the guy who loses.
Right. So insurance is just voluntary socialism. You enter into a pool, somebody manages the pool, the person managing the pool has to take out the costs of management and then the cost of liability, which is bound to happen.
It's not socialism, it's a business.
It's socialism. I mean, it's
socialism is state ownership of the means of production.
It's socializing costs under a voluntary group.
Sure.
So it's socialism in a definition of the term. Fine. If you define socialism as community ownership of the means of production or whatever, then it's a community that comes together voluntarily to defer costs. And it fits the definition of socialism except for the state ownership of the means of production part.
I think that's a pretty big part.
Except for the fact that that's the definition of socialism. But moving on. So there was an update in this case. I guess, Richie, you had said that apparently the coach who was being sued was not found responsible for this.
Yeah, well, it's not an update. It's in the article. Like I said, I read the article on my own and said we're not going to get to the whole thing potentially.
But that's worth pointing out.
This article's so long.
Yeah,
it's a long article.
That's an important point worth pointing out here, was that this guy was not found responsible. I don't know if there was a statement by the judge or whoever in this case, but it would seem to me like, hey, dude was just trying to run the game. He was just trying to give his best advice in the moment that he could possibly do.
This was a jury case, too. They have to convince a jury.
Oh, wow.
And I think they give the breakdown of people on the jury a little bit.
And how they voted?
Well, not how they voted.
Because in a civil case, it doesn't have to be unanimous, right? Isn't it a majority in a civil case?
But how many of the people on the jury played sports? How many of them, coached sports? And the jury didn't appear to be in his favor going in, but still came what we would consider to be the correct decision.
The quote here, it says, it's the end of high school sports. The coaching profession would be under heavy scrutiny for everything that happens.
Yeah, who would want to be a coach?
Coaches are going to have insurance like doctors for malpractice. School districts are not going to want to take the risk of having sports. That's really that's what would happen here
if he were
found responsible.
And he's apparently still a coach.
Right.
Like he coached through this whole thing, and he's apparently still coaching.
Must be a decent one.
Yeah,
maybe it was a good advice.
Well,
was he tagged out or not?
Well, getting tagged out has no meaning for your life. No, sliding into base has a small percentage chance for injuring you in a way that is going to affect the rest of your life.
So ban sliding.
Right. Well, that's what it comes down to, and this is why, although I don't like football. Although I don't like, certain sports for their damage that they do to people, I'm never going to tell people they can't participate.
What about your own son?
Which sport are we talking about?
Football, baseball, the things you consider dangerous.
If my son wanted to play football, and he's shown no propensity for this particular activity, if he wanted to do that, he's about as coordinated as his dad was at his age, which is to say he's a miserable mess. But if he wanted to do this, I would advise him to be the kicker. I mean, talk about the winning position. You could practice anytime you want. You don't need anybody else. You just kick.
And the odds you're going to get tackled are like infinitesimal.
You're not going to be touched. If they touch you, it's a penalty.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. They cannot.
Depends on the situation.
Your butt.
You can wipe out a kicker on a broken play, and kickers get wiped out worse than anybody.
Right.
Because they're yay high. They're tiny.
And they have no pads on.
And they get bulldozed by like these 250, 300-pound monsters. What if your son wanted to follow you to jiu-jitsu class?
Well, I had him in jiu-jitsu for a period of time, and he did it. And, like any other kid's class, they're just horsing around or whatever. He didn't seem to like jiu-jitsu that much, but he's into gymnastics.
Okay.
So there you go.
It's going to be a very strong and nimble kid.
Let's hope so.
Toll-free number, if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Let's see here. We got some vaping-related news that we can get into coming up here. Apparently, the Trump administration may not be moving towards a flavored vape ban. They seem to be vacillating, not as firm on the idea of banning flavored vapes. Of course, we are seeing state governments like Massachusetts, where the state house last week did pass, or the representatives overwhelmingly passed, a straight-up ban on all flavored e-juice and ridiculous 75% taxes on all e-juice and e-cigarettes. Yeah, and they can even confiscate your car if they catch you with a unlicensed vape product, or if you don't have your receipt. We're coming up here, Free Talk Live.
Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's LibertyCon.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BitCot no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll free if you want to join us on the radio. Our number is 855-450-FREE LIFE FREEDOM. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. We can talk about the latest in the world of vaping. There's possibly some good news at the federal level. Maybe the Trump administration is backing down. Doesn't seem to be a clear status, but they seem to be uncertain. More so than they were back in September when they were straight up saying they were going to ban flavored e-cigarettes nationwide. So we can give you an update there. Your thoughts and calls are welcome. You can also, as I say, go to our Discord server where you can interact with other Free Talk Live listeners around the clock. Basically, anytime there's people hanging out in there talking about various different topics. There's different subcategories, different rooms in which you can talk about different things, from cryptocurrency to gaming to New Hampshire liberty activism and such. There's also special rooms for our supporters there as well at discord.lrn.fm. It's Ian, Richie, and Mark in the studio tonight. Let's go to the phones and to your thoughts. David is on the line in New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, first of all, selfie-taking monkeys. Mark, what did you say earlier about macaque?
That's I believe it was a macaque that took the selfie picture with the camera. Yeah.
Okay.
Was this the one where they were debating whether or not he owned the thing?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Own the macaque? Own macaque?
It was a very small one.
No, the question was whether the macaque owned the picture or the man who owned the camera owned the picture.
David's making a macaque joke.
I get what he's doing, but trying to move past that.
Okay, let's get to court business then. You like that better? Oh, first of all, for Scott the bigot or Scott the offended bigot in Florida last night, Kaplan and Ehrlich. And then so moving on to courts.
I was here and I don't remember Scott the bigot in Florida. What?
Review the tape. Everybody in the audience, just hold on a minute. Ian's going to go back.
Do me a favor. Don't reference calls that most people listening probably didn't hear. Just because then we have to go back and explain like who, what, where, what was this? Because it's outside of most people's purview. Because I don't even remember it. There was a caller that we had once who called regularly that we called Scott the bigot, and I'm pretty sure that guy didn't call in last night. So it must have been someone else.
It sounded like him. They all sound alike.
Maybe. All right, what's up?
Yeah. So two different things you said are common recurring themes in the courts. And let me, first of all, your law in upstate New York, something sounds familiar there. Did I hear the word offend? Is that the word they used?
You're talking about the law that they appear to be passing in Monroe County, New York State, that will make it so any police officer or first responder who is annoyed
harass, or threaten.
Got it. Okay, because that sounds awful familiar. Because here in the state of New Mexico, the University of New Mexico, KUNM radio station with the UNM Police Department, cited me, charged me, and are trying to put me in prison for 3 years for annoying them. Does that sounds kind of similar?
Sounds very similar.
The statute, in fact, it reads here in one sentence, it says, in this case, use of the telephone to terrify, intimidate, threaten, harass, and here are the interesting words. I see they strategically placed these interesting words at the very end of the sentence so they would be less noticeable. Threaten, harass, annoy, or offend. So you can go to
Are you admitting
jail
guilt?
for up to a year. Pardon?
Are you admitting guilt?
No, not at all. How would you construe that? How did you construe that?
Because if it's written there that you can't annoy, harass, or bother them, and yet you continuously say how much you try to call their radio show to get on the air.
I didn't say that. Those are your words, not mine.
Okay.
Anyway, so moving on.
Hold on. What statute is it that you're reading from?
New Mexico 30-20-12.
And this is for the crime of what?
Use of telephone to terrify, intimidate, threaten, harass, and then the interesting words annoy or offend. Like I'm annoying you right now. So you could, if you were you can charge me. Since I'm annoying you and I'm offending you, you can call law enforcement here in the state of New Mexico where this call is originating and have me arrested.
Oh, that is tempting.
But wait a minute. Wouldn't generally when it comes to criminal harassment charges, now I'm not a lawyer and it may be different state by state, but usually when it comes to criminal harassment charges, the first call doesn't count. You have to be instructed to not call back. Like, hey, buddy, I don't want to ever hear from you again. Goodbye. Don't ever call me.
He's been instructed not to call their radio show back.
And that's what they did. However, they cannot, if their instruction is unlawful, it doesn't count.
If they are a public servant, then they cannot give you that legally. They cannot give you that instruction because they have to be accountable at all times, which means that they should be held accountable even by someone who is annoying and saying things they don't like.
Right, but also remember, this is not just simply a government agency that is annoyed by my phone calls. They are a government agency that is putting on a call-in radio show like yours that is owned by the taxpayers, paid for by the taxpayers, including their salaries, and they are soliciting on the airwaves, please call us.
Yeah,
Please
I think you've got a good case, David, and I am interested in hearing how it continues to go. The toll-free number, thank you for the call. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. It reminds me of what happened here in Keene, New Hampshire, where I was sued along with 5 other activists in the area for allegedly threatening, intimidating, and harassing the parking enforcers in downtown Keene. And we won that case at the New Hampshire Supreme Court.
And this is for feeding meters, basically.
No, they're claiming. Well, that was what the real reason for the suit was.
Right.
But the purported reason was they were claiming we were threatening, intimidating, and harassing their employees, which wasn't happening at any point. Because if it was, they would have charged us with criminal threatening or criminal harassment. And they never did because there was no evidence of any of those things happening. But that's what they tainted us with. They tried
actually hired an investigator, a retired police lieutenant, to follow y'all around,
police captain,
to see whether or not this was happening. And
he got 40 hours of video.
There was this video of Cantwell, who was not charged in any of this, who came and sort of, did this comedy routine that was saucy with the parking attendants, which some of them seemed to enjoy, mind you. Like one of them,
it was funny.
It was funny.
It was back when he wasn't a racist, Cantwell.
Well,
back before those days.
I'll take your word for it.
Well, we didn't have any evidence he was a racist. He never said anything that was racist prior to him becoming a racist a few years later.
There you
go. But they lost that lawsuit at the New Hampshire Supreme Court because you should be free to say things that are critical of government agents when they are on the job or even if they're off the job. You should be free to say what you want to them, even if they don't like it.
Yep.
And they brought that suit. They ended up spending roughly, I'm going to estimate, 100,000 taxpayer dollars to pay private attorneys to take that suit and lose. So the attorneys were real happy. about it. Even though they lost the case, they got $100,000.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Privilege of being an attorney.
Yeah.
But they pretty much had to do that because
no, they didn't.
The labor, their employees were really upset with getting followed around.
No, they weren't.
They weren't.
They became upset after they were instructed to be upset.
See, isn't it weird? They weren't even being followed around because they had to be ahead of the guards to feed the meat.
Followed around. That says yes, correct.
They were leading around.
They were actually getting along with us fine.
Well, the one guy said that it was worse being in Iraq as a veteran. The one that was a veteran said it was worse being in Iraq than it was doing parking meter stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen that guy around for a long time. But the other ones, the women are still working the job. And, the
ladies could handle it.
We never had any issues with them until the city brought the lawsuit. Then the parking meter attendants became very cold and very, very nasty. But prior to that, they were friendly.
Because all of a sudden you were the enemy as opposed to just a nuisance.
Well, they were being instructed to no longer talk to us. The toll-free, otherwise it would look bad. It would look like they're being friendly.
Yeah.
And wouldn't fit the narrative that the city had created. That they were being threatened, which they weren't. We got more coming up here. The latest on the vaping crisis. Apparently, Apple has taken down vaping apps from their Play Store. More coming up.
Cancer categorizes over 100 diseases. Though we do not diagnose, treat, or cure cancer, GCN team is offering the Clemson University study where there was up to a 95% reduction in cancerous cells when exposed to a plant-derived mineral supplement. If you or a loved one are searching for answers to this horrifying disease, come to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. We'll email you a copy for free. That's 877-878-4203.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771. For your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Join us on the radio here. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up in 2020, you're invited to Fork Fest, June 29th through July 5th. Or I guess until July 5th. Or until whenever you want it to end, because Fork Fest isn't an official anything. There's nobody who's in charge. There's no board of directors. There's no organizers. Except
it's a camping event.
Except for every individual who attends. You organize yourself. You organize your own campsite. If you want to just hang out and do camping things with other libertarian types, you can do that. That's easy. You want to put some sort of curriculum on? You want to have a speaker series? Maybe you want to host some live music or put a game night together? Maybe have a poker table? Whatever. You decide what you think people are going to enjoy, and you can do it at Fork Fest. You don't have to ask anyone's permission to do that. So get on over to forkfest.party. You can learn more about the event. It's going to be the 4th year of Fork Fest. It will be happening in 2020 after the Porcupine Freedom Festival for the first time. So for the first 3 years, it happened before. And some people thought it would be a good idea to move it to afterwards because we want the Porcupine Freedom Festival to ramp up into Fork Fest rather than have Fork Fest ramp up and then become the Porcupine Freedom Festival. We wanted it to be the reverse. Because this year, Fork Fest grew significantly from its second year. So this was the 3rd year this year. It grew a lot more, I think, certainly than I expected it to. 2020, it's going to be likely even bigger. And, of course, there's no ticket sales, so we can't count any actual numbers. It's just all of our observations of having been there. And
seems pretty clear. I mean, the giant geodesic dome that they had dance parties in was kind of an indication that things were going well.
That was big, yeah, for sure. That didn't happen the previous years.
For those that could get in.
That's true. It was very exclusive.
Try to be awesome next time.
You got to be fabulous, actually, not awesome.
Right.
Your outfit has to be fabulous.
My son got in with no problem at all.
He probably knew the bouncer.
I don't know if he knew how to tie his shoes at the time.
Forkfest.party. You can go there, learn more about the event. There's a couple links to the Forkfest chat room on Telegram. There's a Forkfest forum. These are all unofficial, but it's a pretty cool event, and people had a good time last year. And so this will be the first time in 2020 where Forkfest is going to coincide with Independence Day. Now, that may not always be that way, so you won't want to miss this episode of Forkfest coming up in 2020. I think it's going to be a great year. Forkfest.party. So what is a vape-related app? I don't,
Looking at the wrong guy.
Yeah, I mean, I've vaped a little bit. I never really thought, let's go check out the apps for vaping. Like, what?
Never even imagine it.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that there could be an app for vaping, but according to...
link up to your vape and change the LED colors or something?
That's apparently something that some of these things can do.
I didn't even know.
According to ZDNet.com, Apple has decided without warning to remove all vape-related apps from their Apple App Store. According to Axios, the decision is reportedly in response to a health crisis under investigation by the CDC, in which 42 people have died in connection to vaping illicit. Now, they're claiming here nicotine and marijuana vape cartridges. I had not heard that nicotine cartridges were being pointed at for this. I had heard it was only black market THC cartridges.
That was the part too. It was black market stuff. It wasn't even the legit over-the-counter stuff that you get at the vape shop.
Right.
It was black market stuff with vitamin E or whatever.
Vitamin E acetate.
There you go.
Which was used as some kind of a filler, apparently.
Right.
So has anyone here heard that it was nicotine vape cartridges?
No, I've only heard that it was ever the marijuana ones with the vitamin E.
Yeah.
And,
so I don't know if we've missed something or if ZDNet is just jumping to a conclusion here that's
changing
not true.
the narrative.
The move comes as a shock to those using the iOS platform to interface with any number of Bluetooth-connected vaporizers,
there you go.
as well as informational apps related to vaping. The total number of apps that has now been removed from the App Store is 180, roughly.
Why would they remove informational apps? Like, that seems to be educational, so you learn more
They're
about
trying to cover up vaping and act like it doesn't exist, I guess. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, but if you cover up the information, then people are going to
bad.
go experiment anyway with bad information.
Vaping-related illnesses are a subject of legitimate concern. Evidence currently points toward black market cartridges, which use vitamin E acetate as a cutting agent as the main culprit in these cases. But vaporization is also a primary route for use of use for millions of patients in the U.S., in which medical marijuana has legal programs, such as Florida, where there's more than 250,000 card-carrying registered patients. That roster of card-holding patients includes the author of this article at ZDNet. Since June of 2017, he says he's been a medical marijuana patient, using CBD and to a lesser extent THC to address general anxiety disorder as well as neuropathy, which is a vestigial condition, he says. So he goes on and talks about his problem with his drugs that he takes. He says here there exists a large number of devices on the market for vaporizing marijuana. Many of them are self-contained, with any level of complexity as to how they're controlled or configured. Simple dumb battery sticks with a single or no buttons for the use with standardized disposable cartridges. He says, but there are more sophisticated devices that have USB and even Bluetooth interfaces to enable the patient to control heat settings, display lights, as you said there, and update the firmware.
Because something's got to control the heat settings and the display lights.
I mean, if you've released a vaporizer that needs a firmware update, how could you screw that one up? I mean, there's not really that much that these things do.
Well,
you set a voltage, it heats the thing, it vaporizes the substance.
I still like the fact that you can't update the firmware just in case, right? Like, updating a device is better than not being able to update a device.
I've never had a problem with my one-button vape devices.
No,
so
I would agree, but there's these guys that want to create as much vapor as possible.
Right.
And they're probably optimizing. The same way that I remember you when you had a computer that was liquid-cooled at one point. It's not like you need that.
No, you didn't. It was a hobby.
You want to have it,
Yeah, it was
and
a
it's a
hobby.
hobby. Yeah.
And it was a terrible idea.
That was fun, right?
No, it's not really that fun. It was just something I wanted to experiment with, and I kind of knew that eventually it was likely going to fail because all machines fail eventually.
Yes, they do.
And it did. It did fail eventually.
Did it make a mess?
A little bit of one, but that wasn't the real problem. The problem is getting, whatever that was on electronic components, which generally doesn't go together very well. Yeah. So anyway, they go on a blather. The guy blathers on about all the fancy vaporizers and how long-term users of these products and products like them, is unknown as far as what could happen. But both of these devices can work independently for basic functionality. Still, if the firmware has to be updated, that's going to likely require the use of an Android device, because now Apple has banned all of these apps from their platform. So really the question is, should Apple be making medical decisions for people? Because that's what they've done here. They've decided that they're no longer going to allow people who want to use vaporizers to assist them with that process, to allow programs that people have written, these companies have written, on their platform that is a completely consensual choice for everyone to download and use. Apple has just simply said, well, this has been problematic for some people, even though it's all been illegal, and these programs aren't illegal. The programs that are on the platform aren't a criminal act or anything like that. They're not associated with the black market vapes. But nonetheless, we at Apple have decided that vaping is bad, and so we're going to remove all of the apps from our platform.
Maybe they're trying to protect themselves from lawsuits. Whether you win or lose a lawsuit, it's like dealing with the government. Whenever it's even if you win, you lose because you had to spend time and money to defend yourself.
Apple seems to be more aggressive in blocking and deleting apps.
Yeah, they do.
So, the lesson is, if you value that sort of thing, just get off of Apple, get on, Android or some other, open source
Well, unless Android also takes similar steps, which he says here he's concerned about that. But
for most people, that's just like the Google Play Store. There's other ways to load apps onto Android.
And there's not as much security around that.
Right. So you can bypass the Google Play Store.
You can just download what they call the APK file for Android, and then you try to install that. This operating system will usually yell at you and say, hey, that's not an approved...
It's insecure!
Right. And then you can turn the security off and go ahead and install it anyway if you want to. Yeah, that's a good point. Whereas with an Apple device, you would have to jailbreak the device first in order to install some sort of app from outside of their sort of ecosystem, basically.
And most Apple users, I don't think, do that.
No.
And I wouldn't even advise that for most general consumers.
Yeah, no, that's the hobbyist thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I feel claustrophobic whenever they throw up that security warning thing. Like, I can't get my full breath. It scares the heck out of me when they throw that baby up, and then you've got to go through.
As long as you trust the source, you're probably fine.
That's right, probably fine.
But that said, even the Android App Store was recently embroiled in some controversy for some malware, right? Being associated with some apps there. I think I saw a story about
the
that.
Google Play Store specifically.
So I said Android. Google.
I just want to make sure. Probably, but again, because they're more open about it.
That's right.
You have
they
to
don't
more
approve
judicious.
everything that goes through there, so you do need to be careful. Make sure you're downloading the software that you think you're downloading from the source that you trust. All right, so we'll see you tomorrow night. You can join us online, freetalklive.com. Check Richie out at anarchistexperience.com for his show. We'll see you.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Back in January, February, I'd jet home, make myself something to eat, blah, blah, blah. My girlfriend works nights. By 8:30, 8 o'clock, I'd be in bed. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, if this is what the rest of life is like, I'm doomed. Today is day 14 of me taking Balance of Nature. My energy level's through the roof. It took me 5 years of hearing it on talk radio to actually try it. The difference is night and day.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
Should you be able to earn an honest living free from senseless government interference? The Institute for Justice thinks so. That's why we've spent years defending hard-working men and women from pointless government regulations. Nationwide, IJ has created opportunity by reducing government power. But there is still more work to be done. Visit our website today at ij.org. Let IJ take care of the government so you can take care of your business.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,468. Silver at $16.97, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,529. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the Free State Project in New Hampshire is an organization that promotes the fundamentals of liberty and engages in a wide variety of activism in order to demonstrate those principles. Despite New Hampshire ranking near the top for the freest states, activist Christopher Wade learned that the principles were not respected in Manchester, New Hampshire, when he attempted to film a DUWI checkpoint on April 20th, 2017. Although Wade was not charged, he subsequently retained a lawyer who threatened to sue the police department for violating his constitutional rights of the First and 14th Amendments. After a lengthy back and forth, the city capitulated and awarded a settlement of $15,000 to Wade. It turns out this particular department is fortunately an anomaly, according to Wade, who said it's the first time he has ever had an issue with filming a checkpoint. However, the department has also had to pay out for other constitutional violations in the past. Naturally, such expenses are paid by taxpayers, which illustrates the importance of police knowing that the public is watching their every move. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com.